So this story we particularly like because it really shows the power of thought. How happy, how confident, how resolved we are in life isn't tied to the mistakes that we make. No matter how much or how often we mess up, we have the freedom to live happy, productive lives. And that's something that is helpful for people to understand. So early in my career, I was given a big project that I thought I could handle. There were a few things I wasn't sure about, which made me a little uncomfortable, but I knew life forces you out of your comfort zone, so I just figured a lot of it out on my own the best I could. But it turns out I should have asked for more guidance along the way, because the project was just a huge disaster. I made some really important people really mad. I did what I could to fix it, although it was just one of those things where there really wasn't much that could be done. And I had a really hard time with the embarrassment, the lack of confidence, doubting whether my company overestimated me as a person. Then one night I was shredding old work papers and I came across my notes on that project, and I immediately got tight and anxious at the thought of that whole thing, and my spirits just dropped. I felt like a dog that had had an accident in the house and my owner just walked in. I realized that that one mistake represented this huge black hole in my life and threw me completely off balance whenever it came to mind. It was 5 years ago. Where's that gonna go? Like, do I have some kind of sentence to carry out and then it'll lift? There are mistakes that I'm okay with and that aren't a big deal to me. There are also people I know that have made bigger mistakes or more mistakes and aren't haunted by them. And they're responsible people that I respect. In that moment, my judgment and self-loathing just fell into the background. I had a few thoughts about how I could have handled it better, but that some things just have to come with experience, and I just didn't have it at the time, and that was fine. I could see that the torment, the big dealness, the shame had been coming from the thinking I'd been keeping alive. It wasn't coming from the mistake itself. The reality is that I have the freedom to feel confident and resolved as I go through life, no matter what mistakes I make, and no matter how many things I don't do well. So one of the things that we thought was interesting about this story is that in the beginning of it, I was so entrenched in thought about what had happened, and then at some point I just popped out of it. And that's one of the idea for people, is that happens for everybody. If you look in your life, you'll see you were upset about something and then all of a sudden you weren't. And that's a function of thought. And the idea is that that can happen more often for people and can happen sooner for people. So they're tormented by things like mistakes less of the time.